As a satirical anime, Family Guy excels in its ability to mock every country equally, including its own.
Okay, cut.
Wow, Neil Armstrong! Hey, wait a minute. You're supposed to be on the moon. I just saw it on TV.
Regarding Japan, usually portrayed positively, Family Guy offers accurate satire. Now, let's watch the unluckiest day of a Hiroshima resident.
Oh, a parking ticket! I was gone 5 minutes! Oh, how could this day get any worse? Oh my God.
Today, Japanese character Q takes the family on a sky ride, but as they fly over a US port, the plane loses control.
Oh, easy, Quagmire. What are you doing?
I don't know, Peter. It's like something just awakened inside me.
The Japanese seem very polite on the outside.
Irashaimase! Hajimemashite! Here comes our black guy!
But secretly, they often engage in detestable actions.
What are you doing here?
Peter, I'm standing here on your front porch hoping to kill that dolphin with this harpoon.
Japan, they kill things that we like.
On this day, Stewie and Brian go to Paris, the city of romance, to find the kidnapped Meg.
Oh, I thought Paris would be a bit more picturesque. Instead, it's just traffic and some big guy using a jackhammer. Oh.
India is often stereotyped as dirty and chaotic. They say that the moment you leave New Delhi Airport, you'll truly understand cleanliness and hygiene. Besides environmental issues, India has unique travel. Memorable is the train with hanging tickets.
You think all those chickens had to buy tickets?
People say the Ganges River is full of fecal matter, causing health issues for locals. So the clever dumpling saw a business opportunity.
Yes, excuse me. I have a tapeworm.
All right, very good. Lie down on your stomach. This won't hurt a bit.
Hey, how are you guys?
They discovered tapes at AQS Place with Korean short films Q made in his early years. As the story unfolded, Brother Q revealed the 3 main rules of Korean dramas. When the plot stalls, these laws kick in, forcing the protagonist to deal with either a car accident, amnesia, or cancer. Seeing the pile driver ahead, Peter's grandfather got an idea. Chris always struggled with school, writing essays like grocery lists, relying on cartoon characters in art class. The principal suggested to graduate smoothly, he could feed the campus's stray cats. Lois doubts this will give her son a proper education. However, Peter disagrees, stating that many cats have already found good jobs and returned home. The couple then discusses Chris's smarts and decides their son isn't very bright. Chris, eavesdropping behind the door, overheard his parents' conversation. Upset, he ran out crying. When Brian found out, he suggested Lois enroll Chris in a class. Exploring different interests and hobbies is better for a child's overall well-being. Of all the training camps, Chris quickly favored the space one. After a week of intense math and science training, he could become a real astronaut. That brochure must have accidentally gotten mixed in.
What are you saying? That I'm too stupid for it? Chris, we're over here.
At Chris's urging, the family visited the space agency to enroll in training. During the tour, Peter got curious about sensory deprivation. The staff explained that it was designed to help astronauts adapt to the terrifying emptiness of space. Curious Peter dragged Brian inside. Things stack fast. After sending off his parents, Chris finally entered the space training camp. But before he could adjust, the courses overwhelmed him. Be it orbital dynamics or physics, Chris, struggling academically, couldn't keep up.
Man, I don't belong here, and they know it. People can always sense a fraud.
Gentlemen, it has come to my attention that there is a Chinese among us. Rest assured, he will be found. Security is launching a full-scale investigation into the genealogy records of every single one of our employees. This man will be found, and there will be dire consequences.
Too bad about that Chinese guy, huh?
After days of intense study, Chris finally broke down and tearfully called Lois, admitting he was a failure and shouldn't have come. Just as Lois was about to comfort him, Peter also called in tears.
I hate it here. I want to come home. Everybody's so mean, and there's this one guy who follows me around and calls me fat.
The next day, the family came to take Chris home. Before leaving, Peter suggested they board the space shuttle to take a look. Led by Chris, they toured the interior and were thrilled by the unfamiliar sights. But in a twist of fate, Stewie pressed the launch button. In a flash, the spaceship took off, leaving Earth behind.
You only live once. I am sticking my head out the window. Yes! This is the best version of whatever's so enjoyable about this!
So, the family floated quietly in space, but luckily, the control tower helped out. They found out the spaceship was on autopilot and the staff needed time to calculate the route. Back to Earth. In the meantime, with nothing else to do, Peter wanted to experience a spacewalk.
Oh, neat. So this is space. Damn it. Ha! Stupid drunk bitches.
Meanwhile, Chris went to the monitor and found Meg wandering around.
I'm gonna give her a little scare.
Soon, the control tower messaged that they could autopilot back to Earth. But they needed to press a button to detach the spaceship. Before they could hear clearly, the signal cut out. Using his DJ experience, Peter took control, and the knob came off right away, causing them to lose contact with the control tower. If they didn't detach the spaceship from orbit soon, they'd run out of oxygen and perish. Brian frantically pushed for ideas, while Peter tried to calm everyone down. The Griffin family solves problems, like my great-grandfather who invented something that helped many women in distress. When everyone was at a loss, Chris timidly suggested that he might have a solution.
Space Camp, we learned about countering forward momentum with retro rockets. If we use them now, the ship might slow down enough for gravity to pull us out of orbit.
With a button press, the spaceship slowed down, but the relief was short-lived. The spaceship lost control, sending everyone tumbling and fearing. Everyone shared their final thoughts, except Dumpling, who lamented that the dress was already perfect. At that moment, Chris realized that adjusting the braking rockets might stop the spin. He struggled to the pilot's seat, fastened his seatbelt, and performed maneuvers. The spaceship stabilized, and the autopilot kicked back in. With everyone watching, the spaceship re-entered the atmosphere and smoothly landed at the airport.
Well, thanks to no gravity in space, my spine stretched, and I am now a confident 6'3". So, Lois, I will be leaving you for a hotter woman.
I love you so much.
Following the incident, Chris's story hit the newspapers. Mom Deerside owed Safe returned to Chris and apologized for calling him A. She softly conveyed that every child is precious and needs ongoing support and motivation to truly shine.